Hello everyone, Yom Tov. It's Heather back again, and I hope you're all having a happy Monday. I wasn't really quite sure what it was that I wanted to talk about today. To be honest with you, I hadn't been feeling particularly great over the weekend. So a lot of details have come very late. But I wanted to talk about this, among other things. I wanted to talk about this latest tragedy in Texas. I get DMs from some of our Haveners and also friends who tell me they are terrified to go out to their local shopping mall, to take their kids to school, to go to church, just about anywhere, because they're frightened that there might be some madman on the street waiting to take them out, or somebody they love. And when I got the news that this had happened, and this is now the third time that Texas has been hit, and we've had Ohio, and back in February we had the Jewish synagogue in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry if I've forgotten any other place where a tragedy has taken place. I do apologise, I can't remember them all. But I think what has really tipped this over for me was, I know a baby was hurt in Texas before, I believe by a white supremacist. I'm not sure if it was a baby was injured or it lost its life. And that hit me hard. But it became very, very real to me. See, being in the UK, and when we don't experience things like this, normally for us it's knife crime. And the norm for us these days is someone who has an agenda, who goes out with a large knife in order to stab as many policemen as they can, or people around our centre of government at Westminster. And everyone is terrible, but we don't have the level of gun crime that happens in the United States, because our gun laws are very, very different. But when I saw the picture of little Anderson Davis, the little girl that I don't know if you all know, but she was shot in the face. According to our mum, she's happy and acting as if nothing's happened. And all I can say is God love her. God love that little girl for being so strong. And apparently the gunshot tore into her lip, knocked out her front teeth, or maybe all of it. I don't know all the details. I actually couldn't get into all the details because I just kept thinking, this is a little one who probably wouldn't know one end of a gun from the other, who only knows love from our parents and our family, who doesn't know anything negative, who just gets up every day probably with a smile on her face and a hug for her mum and her dad, and has her little breakfast, gets herself dressed, plays with her toys, And I don't know if she has any siblings, but from looking at her, she looks like the sort of little one that would love one that was younger than her and be the apple of the eye of older ones. And I thought, this guy, this Seth Ator, I believe his name is, from what I can gather, he was pissed off that a policeman pulled him over for not indicating properly. So he decided to open fire and then just carry on shooting anybody in his wake. I can't get my head around it. I mean, I know this sounds like a fatalistic thing to say, but I'll never get used to it, but I'm kind of used to Jews being shot at, right? Because that's just how it is. A lot of people hate Jews. I've encountered it myself, and you've just got to learn to deal with it. You have to. But in a sense, when I hear about Jewish people being shot at and killed, my heart does go out to them, and it does go out to the families, but I think, well, it was going to happen sooner than later. Someone was going to do it. I know at my particular synagogue, the security is as high as it can get. And it's only a small shul. But they keep the security very, very high. And unfortunately, all new faces are suspect, you know. But that's just how it is. But when you see a little one, and I just think, these are all innocent people just going about their daily business. And this guy just comes along and wounds so many. I believe there's now 7 are dead. This didn't have to happen. And I'll tell you why it didn't have to happen. You see, because this is where my beliefs and where maybe reality just sort of split a little bit. All of us have free will, right? I've heard so many people say, why did God allow this to happen? But I do believe that God gave us free will. He gives us the will not to pick up a gun and not to shoot people. He also gives us the will to pick up that very same gun and to go out and cause as much heartbreak and mayhem as that person or persons can. They say that God made us in his own image. Well, if his own image is supposed to be perfect, then I don't know what happened, because there's no human being, including myself, who is perfect. None of us are perfect. And I have a belief that before we're born, before we come back to this life, we are given a life plan. And in that guy's life plan will be, I'm going to take a gun and I'm going to shoot some people. I struggle with where the life lesson is to be learned in that. Because everything we do is supposed to be a life lesson. But I seriously struggle with anyone who, with free will, chooses to commit an atrocity and then say, It's all part of our life lesson. I can't get my head around that. Because to me, what he did was an act of evil. And what I find is insult to injury, and I'm sorry if I don't understand the US gun laws, and I'm sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, but I am going to say how I feel, because you all know I don't work from a script. It comes from here and here. How is it now that the state of Texas has now loosened the gun laws to give more protection and defence for gun owners? Shouldn't they have gone the other way and tightened it? So there's a bigger chance that this sort of thing wouldn't happen. Or have I just completely got it all wrong? Because I don't understand their thinking. That's been 3 atrocities in the state of Texas in as many months. And now they're loosening the gun laws? If I've got that wrong, please let me know. Because I got this from Vox.com. It was on my timeline on Twitter. And another of my friends had put this up. And I saw a picture of this man with a flag, what looked to me like an AK-47, with the words, "Come and take it." And I just thought, where's your heart? Where's your heart? One of your own citizens could have had half a face blown away. There are policemen killed and injured. There are citizens killed and injured. How can you say that guns are right? You know, an awful lot of your Constitution was set up by George Washington and his friends. Keep in mind that George Washington was a Brit who lived and was born in a place called Washington, not far from where I am in my particular region of the UK. And that constitution was written at a time to protect the newborn Americans, the freed Americans from British rule, from the Brits trying to grab you back in and make you listen to the king and what have you anymore, to keep you safe from French soldiers, British soldiers, or anybody else who would come and have a go at you. But that was in the 17 whatever. This is now the 21st century. Don't you think it's time you updated your laws? Do you not think that something needs to change? And you know, my feelings may lose me subscribers, and if that happens, and I'm sorry. But I am looking from the viewpoint as a mum and as a human being. And I am heart sick. I am, the words heart sick describe how I feel today. It is heartbreaking to me to get messages from people telling me they're terrified to go outside, that they want to keep the children safe and they're terrified. But if they don't take them to school, they'll be in trouble, so they have to run that risk. And they can't run out of food, so they've got to run that risk and go to the store. And they need to go and see a doctor, so they've got to run that risk and get in their car and go to see their doctor. And they're going out and they don't know if that's going to be their last day, or if their babies are going to get shot. All I can give those people is comfort and say, look, all we can do is pray that it isn't going to happen. And that the laws will get changed to tighten things up so it's going to be harder for this to happen in the future. And you've just got to have faith. You've got to stay strong and you've got to have faith. Now I tell them that, and that's what I believe. You've got to stay strong. You've got to have faith. You can't give in to evil. You've got to make a stand and say, I am not going to let this bow me down. And I'm not going to be afraid. I don't know why this particular shooting has upset me as much as it has. It was seeing little Anderson, I think. And I don't know what. I mean, this guy's dead now. Unless they do investigation, nobody knows the reason as to why he did what he did. Not really. Whether he just got out of bed the wrong side that morning. There was no reason for him to take a shot at a policeman for saying, hey, you haven't indicated, that's dangerous. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry for getting upset. I wanted to be upbeat and everything today, and I wanted to give you, something to hang on to, but I just feel tremendously heart heavy. And there's so much good in this world, I mean, look at the Haveners in here. They're always so good. They're always so kind. There are genuinely good people in this world. There are. And the evil ones are few and far between. But it just seems to me sometimes that the good ones are very rarely heard. And it's always the ones who commit acts of evil get the biggest voice. And it's not right. And my heart goes out to everyone affected. My thoughts and my prayers are with all of them. And anyone who has lost someone in this way. I am so sorry that happened. I think, I know it's funny, they say, how can you grieve for people you don't even know their names of, but they're human beings just like me and you. Life can be very, very good, guys, But it can also have its bad moments. And I would like to think that something good would come out of all of this. I hear that Landerson's had about $100,000 raised towards our surgeries and our hospital expenses, and all I can say is to everyone who contributed to that, God bless you. Because you've done a good thing. A very good thing. I think everybody should rethink about having guns. I have never held a gun. Never possessed one. The only time I ever saw one up close and personal was when the first time I went over to Greece and seeing the soldiers at the airport with AK-47s and smaller guns in holsters. And it was like, oh my God, they're real. And it really came as a shock. Sorry, excuse me. For all those who have gone, may they rest in peace. Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. To those who are left behind, you will see your loved ones again. You will be with them again, and you will see them again. And they will come to see you. You'll feel them. Just look for signs, and they will be there. Because I do believe that. I really am sorry for this being on a downer. I do apologise. I am literally just lost for words. I've just kept looking at everything that I'd missed over the weekend and thinking, oh God, no, not again. And then it was seeing Anderson's picture. I think that's what tipped me over the edge. I think the best thing that all of us can do is hug your loved ones even tighter today. Give them that extra hug and tell them that you love them. Because that's something that I do believe in. You should validate your loved ones while you've got the chance to do it. Because you never know. Something may happen and one of your biggest guilts will be, I never got the chance to tell them how much I loved them. So every opportunity you get, tell the people you love that you love them. Tell them how much they mean to you. And give them a hug. Let them know that they feel special. And if the worst came to worst, which I pray never ever happens, never. But if the worst came to worst, you could say, in all honesty, I told them I loved them. That was the last thing I said to them was, I said, I love you. And I meant every word. And I hugged them. And that's what I would advise. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hug my kids and I'm going to hug my hubby when he comes in from work. And I think that's the only advice I would give any of you today. Hug your loved ones and tell them you love them. All being well, I'll see you on Wednesday. And I apologise again for being so down. I know you'd rather that I was, full of the joys of spring and what have you, but I'm only human, guys. I had to say something. I couldn't not say anything. As if it didn't matter. Because it does matter. I love you all. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye for now.